And I took a shit in the outhouse. It was fucking freezing. I took a shit in the outhouse. I had my coat on, and the sun came up over the mountain as I was shitting, and it shined through all the trees that were covered in snow. And I thought, this is a shit I'll never forget.
Just you're crying while you're on the toilet.
I was just like sobbing.
I'll never shit like this again.
I get emotional pretty easily. When was the last time you cried?
Oh, man, what was it? You know, I come, like my parents are Afghan. I think there's this culture of don't cry.
We talked about this before. Afghanistan is that from? Is that,
Afghan is
what's Afghan?
Afghan is the people.
Afghanistan is the place.
Afghanistan's the place. Welcome back to the segment called Educating Bert.
I was just making sure you knew it.
Right. Sometimes I forget what I am, and I just thank you for keeping me honest.
So your parents were they from Afghanistan?
From Afghanistan, yeah, born and raised out there.
Afghanistan is.
It's next to Pakistan.
but it's the people. I know that the lines were arbitrarily drawn in the sand by the British government, and that is the problem with over there, is that you're having people that are two totally different things having to share a country, and it's fucked everything up.
Or it gets murky because then you have like people from Pakistan who will come into Afghanistan, and it's like, which do they belong to?
Yeah.
But there's this culture of, I mean, at least as an Afghan American, that you're not super open with your emotions and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a lot of repression going on. So for me, it's hard to just openly cry. Like, I think my buddy, one time he was like, hey, you want to go see that Mr. Rogers movie? And I wanted to, but I just didn't want to chance crying in front of him.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to cry next to a friend, even though it's a friend. I go, that's something I do. Like, crying and masturbating is sort of like just that's a solo activity. Any liquid being excreted is just a solo activity. Like,
I've masturbated in front of people before. A person, not people. In front of people.
What if the podcast just ended right there and then it's over?
It's a great place for a commercial.
I masturbate in front of people.
I've masturbated in front of a person before, usually a chick. Only a chick.
Just keep digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole.
Only a chick.
Only a chick.
And so I masturbated in front of my wife before, but I've cried in front of a lot of people. I've cried on stage before.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
What was the moment? What made you?
I have a story. I had to stop telling it because I was crying. I couldn't get through it. I have a story about putting down our dog, Priscilla. Anyone that's been to one of my shows, like there was a chunk of time that I told this. I told it at Red Rocks, and because I was in a fucking way and I was having fun, and I was like, it's a good story and it's funny story. It's a funny story, but it's an emotional story because I end up, I can do the whole story totally good. But when I get to the part of me saying goodbye to her, I remember saying goodbye to her. Yeah. And so I end up crying, and then people are like, people hit me up and they're like, dude, fucking love the show. Love the Priscilla story, but fuck you, man. I'm crying in my car.
But that's almost beautiful, though. You know what I mean? It shows some humanity on stage. And I think even though you go, okay, I'm on a stand-up show, it shouldn't be. But it's nice breaking, especially where you're at, too. It's like, oh, I'm seeing a deeper, I'm peeling back the onion of Bert a little instead of just, jokes or something. You're like, oh, that's he let me in a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm very open to crying. I wasn't always. I never really wanted to cry. And then something happened to me. And I was very cool with crying.
Maybe I'll get better about it. But I remember watching, what movie was it? It was
Miracle. I cried at that one. Warrior.
If I'm watching these movies at home, I will let myself.
Walking Tall, Walking Hard with The Rock. I cried on the airplane watching that. When he pulls his shirt off, he goes, I just want to make sure that this doesn't happen to any of you people. And his back's all scarred. I'm sobbing on a plane. And someone goes, for real?
I mean, there are times, I'm watching Spider-Man or something, or when you're watching a Marvel movie and you're about to cry, that feels like the dumbest shit. You're watching people in spandex. Are you kidding me?
And shit, when Spider-Man starts to disappear and he's like, Tony, what's happening to me? Are you fucking kidding me? I was sobbing. And my daughter goes, are you crying?
I think the worst is if you're wearing 3D glasses like Transformers and it's just rolling down your cheek.
If you're crying in a 3D movie, you got problems. I cried at, you ever seen The Time Traveler's Wife?
No, is it good? I got to see it. Yo, you're the only person that I've heard say, have you seen The Time Traveler's Wife? You've got some odd, I believe it.
As a comic with a family on the road who drinks a lot, that movie caught me off guard in a hotel, out of the shower, naked on the corner of a bed. I just stayed naked and I watched the whole fucking movie I watched like probably 3/4 of the movie. I caught it a little late, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll go." So I go on Wikipedia and I read the beginning of the movie, and I go, "Oh, this is cool. I love time travel." At the end of the movie, I won't spoil it for anyone watching, but at the end of the movie, he's talking to his daughter, and I am a mess. This is how great that movie was. If I tell you about it, if I explain that scene to you, I'll start crying.
Oh, wow.
That's how fucking great that movie is. And Eric Bana's amazing. Amy Adams, I think, is in it. She's fucking incredible. Like, they're just really great actors too that can emote to you. But I've cried.